Peace, all. Peace, everyone. Peace, everyone that's joining. Peace, everyone that's watching. Everyone that's in the chat. Peace to you all. Give me 1 second, y'all. I'm still setting up. Right. Still setting up. I gotta There's a sister that I'm gonna do a interview with, right? And she's a forensic scientist. So we're going to touch base on what that is and how important that is for our people to join a field like that also as well, right? Um, 1 second. All right. Trying to get there's some other folks I'm trying to get on the panel also as well. So bear with me out. But it's not showing them. I don't know why. Okay. All right. We're about to get started. So before we get started, let me state my disclaimer. My disclaimer is that for any members of law enforcement, any public, private entity out there that is recording this conversation, this live stream, that I am an Arawak Indian, what you call an Arawak Indian from the American island of Zamaka. I am an American Indian. All right. With that being said, this platform does not advocate for any form of terroristic activities, any form of hate speech towards anyone. This platform is for educational purposes and for the critique of public information as it is put out there in the public. This platform is for what you call indigenous people to communicate back and forth with each other worldwide and to make links and connections with each other also as well. All right. With that being said, I say peace, love, light to you all, and welcome to everyone that is joining us right now. All right. All right, everyone. I'd like to say welcome to everyone that is joining us right now. Sister Rhonda, I'm going to send you an invite in a few minutes also as well. To everyone that is here, I say peace and love to you all. And if you all can hear me, just press 1 in the chat if you all can hear. So let me know that you all can hear me. All right, good, good, good. All right, so
Okay.
right now I have a good friend of mine that's here. So we're going to keep her anonymous because of her profession that she's in. And we're going to do like a brief interview with her on what it is that she does and how important it is that of what she does and how important it is for more of our people to get involved in professions like hers, right? And there's not much of our people that's in that profession. All right. So this is a good friend of mine's and she's a forensic scientist. If folks don't know what a forensic scientist is, we're gonna have her break it down and explain it. All right. Sis, would you like to break it down for everyone?
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yeah, they can hear you.
Oh, peace and love, everyone. I just want to say I want to remain anonymous for the fact that I don't have an alternate name. And due to my profession, my name can come up in court documents and stuff like that. So that is the reason. But moving forward, a forensic scientist is really just a scientist that is specialized in a particular field, which uses a scientific method to detect something that is usually unknown. The scientific method is basically a test that is usually accepted, and a forensic scientist is deemed an expert in court due to the stipulations of Federal Rule 702. A forensic scientist goes through lots of avenues to get to their profession. Most have at least a bachelor's degree. I myself have a bachelor's of science in criminal justice. Many go through the police department and they branch off from being a police officer into a crime scene investigator. A lot of people who move on from their bachelor's program go to their master's degree program in which they take a lot of forensic courses. The other hand, into the field by taking about 2 years of forensic courses with an organization called Ron Smith and Associates and TriTech Forensics. And there are lots of training programs out there for forensic scientists and for people who just want to put themselves in that particular field. And I want to say that forensic science is not just drug, DNA, firearm, fingerprints, but the field is constantly expanding every day. Biometrics is really big now. Photography is something else that is evolving as well. And a lot of times, what people may have an interest in, they can actually turn it into a discipline of forensics just based on the fact that it is a scientific method that is used to detect something that is usually unknown to a normal person. For instance, I'll say a person that may be interested in forensic photography. If you specialize in Photoshop and you are able to capture the original image of something, you can actually pull out. I'm not a person that specializes in Photoshop, but you can actually pull layers out of a picture to determine whether or not that image is a true image. And we know based on like history that a lot of images are really fake, and people are now just starting to look into those things and investigate. And I mentioned biometrics, and biometrics is something that's really big now because of technology. We see it even on our phones with voice recognition, face, eye, and of course your fingerprint. And those are the things that have been around for a long time. But say, for instance, if someone is interested in music, they would never think that they could enter into voice recognition. And voice recognition is just based on understanding frequencies and being able to make an identification based on that knowledge. So there's no limits, and there's additional skills that scientists bring to the field of forensics.
Okay.
So it's very widespread, and it's really important in our day and age, just because there's so much, I guess, false or fake things that are out there, and so you're able to detect things that are true and usually unknown.
Now, in some of the cases that you deal, Matt, even before we go there, how many of our brothers and sisters are in the field work that you are in? In
Oh,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, very few. It would be. I will say that it is a white male dominated field. I do see more females in the field. However, um, there should be more melanated people in this field, based on, and I would say based on the situations that come up in forensics. A lot of times there are biases because of the fact that you only see one race performing this type of, or majority of one race performing this type of job. So, and those biases, hopefully, if something that's unethical, hopefully is being picked up when an expert is, providing testimony. But oftentimes, people may just assume certain things because they don't have a melanated person around, or a lot of us don't want to take on fields like chemistry and physics and even mathematics. And those are things that are very important to forensics as well. When I mentioned biometric earlier, someone who's really good in mathematics can create algorithms or statistical models in which the computer can use for the biometric systems or the technology that we use for those systems. And like I said, so it's not something that you have to have one particular interest or knowledge and skill in. There's so many things that you can bring to the table when it comes to forensics. Mm-hmm. There was one more thing that I had to say, but it slipped my mind for a second. So I'll get back to it if it comes up.
Now, being that it's so many of our brothers and sisters that's being pushed through this judicial system, and so many of them that is in what they call the penitentiary now today, I believe that it's more important than anything else that a lot more of our people get involved in this field, because I'm sure you've heard of stories where there's folks that have been wrongfully imprisoned because of faulty DNA, or someone has tampered with the evidence, or they just didn't do the forensic science right at all. And in some of those cases, it turns out to be some form of a racial discrimination. So it is important that a lot more of our people, think less about getting into sports and more about getting into fields like these, because we speak on discrimination every day and that the system is against us, but yet still we're not trying to put ourselves in certain positions to where we could change that, or trying to educate our children to be in certain positions to where they can be the future of the change that we are seeking this present day right now also as well. Have you ever come across or heard of any case where or seen any case on TV where the forensic sciences was sketchy or skeptic due to the fact of the disparity of race?
I can't state that as a fact, and I will say, because that's not the way it was presented initially, but that's the way it played out in court. A lot of times we know that the judicial system is against us. That is just plain to anyone. But I won't say I won't put it out there that okay, we're targeted because of our race. I will say that we are more susceptible to things because we don't have the knowledge. So we are. I want to put this as plainly inappropriate as possible. So just give me a second. But let me say this. Oftentimes, biases come up because, like I mentioned before, number one, we're not the majority in this field. And also because of what is constantly put out there about melanated people. I'm sorry, I had a call coming in.
That's all right.
But so those biases come up for those simple fact that people just constantly think that our race is a certain way, we do things a certain way, we behave a certain way, and those things are just not true. And so they paint the picture of us, and most of the time in court, we just have to go along with it because we don't have anything to fight for ourselves.
Yeah.
In the judicial system, we also don't have the knowledge where we can actually challenge the attorneys to understand or present to us the certainty that is behind the forensic evidence. Every discipline has a level of certainty in which the statements that an expert is given is true or not.
Yeah.
And oftentimes the attorneys, they don't know that they can just certify a person as an expert and just move on. And like I said, everything just plays out. But because this field is new in the judicial, not necessarily new, but it's new to some attorneys, they're basically used to just presenting their case, throwing out the arguments, and making a settlement. But now forensics is almost valuable, highly valuable in every case, in which attorneys don't really have that forensic knowledge. They know the law. They don't know forensic science. And forensic science can make a whole lot of things make sense and put it in its right perspective. Mm-hmm. So, like I said, people need to not just allow themselves to be handled or maneuvered through the justice system in any kind of way, but know your stuff and challenge your attorneys. And if you are in a particular case where DNA or fingerprint or such is involved, make sure that you study those things, understand the level of certainty, understand the things that, or the possibilities where things can go wrong. Because if those things are presented in court, it will allow them to either strengthen their case if it's a false accusation, or it'll weaken their case, So
yeah,
it's something that we really have to take upon ourselves and take our knowledge and skills and our seriously. Mm-hmm. We Black people, I'm just gonna say Black people, melanated people, indigenous people. When I speak, I don't want to offend anyone, and oftentimes when I'm trying to pinpoint a particular race, I may not always be politically correct, so I apologize for that. But I just want all melanated people to know that I'm referring my thoughts to you.
Very, very, very well understood, sis. Very well understood.
Yeah. So, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, what I also wanted to add into also, because a lot of our people, when we see forensic scientists or anything like that, we see it on movies like Law and Order, on CSI, these type of television series and stuff. And usually, it is also it's also the mostly what we see in those fields are like the Caucasian person in those fields and not our people even advertised in those fields. So that's why it's also interesting to hear that, when you state that it is more predominantly and Caucasian male dominated industry. This is to me, it's a wake-up call to our brothers and sisters out there that, this is something definitely to be involved in, because again, we complain about being profiled in this and then that, and then we're looking at the numbers of our people that's in the prison system, how it quadrupled over the past 10 to 20 years. and we're wondering why the number and the high rising number of those who are just locked up innocently, and this even goes for all people, also in general, that it is a field to pay more attention to for those who are righteous at heart, who know that they're joining the field to actually do the right thing, to make sure that what we call justice is served. You see what I'm saying? So this field is very important, to be in. And to our sister, how long have you been in this field, and what are the requirements again? I know you stated it earlier, but for those who are just joining, what are the requirements again for those to become a forensic scientist?
Yes, I've been in this field coming up on 6 years in about a few months. And as I mentioned before, a lot of people enter the field as either a criminal justice major, and they go on to get their master's in forensic science. A lot of people start off as police officers, and after a few years, they go into crime scene investigation and branch off into several disciplines in forensic science. And there's also training programs like Ron Smith and Associates, where they will actually take people from college and put you in their forensic classes and certify you that way, where you'll be able to practice in a particular field.
Okay.
I want to go back for a second when you mentioned that we are oftentimes profiled. And since I am an anonymous, I'm just going to speak freely. We're in a time where data is being collected on as many people as possible, and therefore people are, falsely accused for anything, and you'll get booked and fingerprinted. If you've never been fingerprinted before, it is a good time to now just put your fingerprint in the system. I heard recently that if you call the police for a particular crime, you can actually get swabbed for DNA and fingerprint as well, just for notifying the police about a particular incident. So whether you're a witness or whoever the person may be that want to inform the police, and collect it as well. Now, you don't have to. I will say that. So, understand and know your rights, that you do not have to go forward with that. But you'll definitely be asked, because we're in a time where, the system wants to collect as much information on the population as possible. So we do have to understand that. If you have never given out your information and are not involved in a situation where you have to, I would suggest that you do not.
Wait, so
because there's no need.
So you're telling me that if you call the police for an incident, that you could also be the one ended up getting fingerprinted and swabbed also as well?
You can. That is absolutely correct. I'm not sure if this varies with different departments, like versus states and stuff like that. But this is something that is now coming up, because, like I said, we're in a day and time where collecting as much information from the population is what they're really after. Even if you're like, well, what did I do? And I didn't do anything, and why are you doing this? And they may oftentimes just collect your information, say, oh, we're going to let you go, but give us your information. And that's because they want to be able to find you whenever,
Yeah.
The things that you are born with are the things that identify you. And therefore, no matter where you go, oftentimes when we apply for jobs, travel through the airports and stuff like that, we have to give up certain information. So you always be identified if we at least have you in the system one time. Now, if you've never been in the system, there's nothing really to identify you with, because remember, a match comes from a person who is already in the system. A match, you can't make a match on someone who's never been in the system.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. If you freely give up your information and then something comes up where you now are involved in the crime and stuff like that, that's where the match comes from, because your information is already in a database.
Yeah.
So if you don't have information and you didn't commit a crime, you're not involved or anything like that, then don't. And don't allow anyone to convince you that it's necessary to do so, because it's not.
Wow.
But like I said, people oftentimes, they just don't know their rights and they follow through with instructions because of authority, and put themselves in a situation where they can compromise their
now
themselves later.
You also stated that that even when they're asked for such things such as their fingerprints or their mouth to be swabbed, that they have all right not to do so and to turn them down. Does that even go for someone who has? Well, do you think that goes for someone who has also been arrested, or yeah?
It should, if that person is not a part of the particular crime they are investigating. Because, for instance, somebody can be just a witness. You can call the police and say, "Hey, I heard 3 gunshots next door," and they'll say, "Okay, we'll come out. We'll ask you some questions. We'll do a police report. But can we get you your fingerprints in case anything come up? We just want to," or they may say something new, like, "This is our new way of identifying and keeping you anonymous," or something like that. I'm telling you, there are 50 million ways that people are manipulated into giving up their information.
Wow.
And so I just want to throw it out there that if you don't really look for it, you will probably not even notice it. Just because it seems like the right thing to do, to just cooperate, stuff like that. But it's not necessary. And if there was a law that you had to do so, you would know. So
that's true. That's true. Give me 1 second, sis. 1 second. Aboriginal Power, you just popped up. You was just in there. It keep kicking. I keep kicking me out. Yo, I don't. All right, this is what I'm gonna do. I might just I might just restart it, right? But give me a sec. Let me finish up with our sister here, and then we'll just restart back the live. We'll let this live publish and restart it back, right? Because it's definitely being tampered with. All right, because it says it's telling me that you guys are in on the call with me, right? But I don't know. Yes, sis. You know, some of the information that you gave it blows my mind, because I would have never thought that we would have been in a society to where when you're calling what is supposed to be law enforcement for help or to make a complaint about a crime, that you will be the one fingerprinted or even swabbed, as if you were the one that's committing the crime, right?
exactly.
Wow. And again, this is where again it is important that we start getting our sons, our daughters, nieces and nephews, to start entering certain fields, because again, if folks are going to be out there, literally that's stealing your DNA. And you don't know what people could do with your DNA. They could set you up, they could do all sorts of things with your DNA, even if it's not you, they could, do whatever it is with your property, right? And a lot of folks don't know that they don't have to comply and give up that swab or that fingerprint. They do so because some of them do it because out of fear. They see a lot of stuff that happens on TV and stuff, and they do it out of fear. Some folks just generally don't know the authority or the rights that they have, that they don't have to give up those things, that those things are theirs, and that it is by choice that they give those things up. You know what I mean? So this is what it is.
And I just want to excuse me, I'm going to cut you off, but I just want to add that also, even with our young children, a lot of people have children in the school system, and they'll convince you to get your children fingerprinted and create some little bogus ID just so that they can be able to identify your child. Now, with your fingerprints remain the same from the time that you're born to the time that you die, unless you happen to cut your finger off or get severely scarred to the point where it passes the dermis layer of your skin, and it actually creates a different type of pattern within your fingerprint. But even there's no changes within your fingerprint. So therefore, even if you fingerprinted as a child, they can still later identify you as an adult with that same fingerprint. Even footprints. Oftentimes, everybody's foot inked with a footprint as a child or a baby in the hospital.
That goes for all. That goes for the newborns also as well.
Yes. So
Oh wow.
newborns are inked, and I want to say if you guys Google this case, I don't know the name of it, but if I can get to it before someone else, there is a case where a lady was identified by her footprint that she gave when she was in the hospital, and I want to say she was maybe 80 something years old. They could not identify her, and at the time they didn't have fingerprint database around in her area. So they were able to go to the hospital and look up her footprint or her ink print from her foot as an infant and identify her.
Wow.
So yes, it's a very interesting thing, and like I said, it's our person should handle it with care. At the same time, if people are interested in the field, they should understand how valuable it is to, society and in the court system. And the court system uses it heavily because they understand the truth behind the science. There's a lot of certainty in court all day, but if they don't have that level where the case can be proven in a certain way, whether it's proven to be wrong, proven to be true, then it really leaves the courts up in the air. They can't even make a decision because of the things that are unknown. So this is why they really rely on forensic evidence.
Okay. Wow. Like you just literally blew my mind with that one, because I did not know that they could go they could do that. They could do that, but I did not know that they were doing that. That was something that was even possible for to even do. You learn something new every day. You learn something new every day. Wow.
Yes, even your car. Like when people decide, they want to commit a crime, and they drive a particular car, or where those are things that are able to do analyze and track and detect whether or not if you own this particular shoe or you own that particular car involved in a case. So a lot of times people also wonder how they get caught in those situations, and it's really just because of the things that you have. You have a car that fits the description, or you had a shoe that looked like this, and so you now became a part of that identification, and you have no clue where it came from, and it's really because this is how they do their work. This is how investigators their information match and understand that unknown part that we're all looking for.
Wow. Wow. All right, sis. I wanna thank you for participating and doing this interview with me today. I know that you can't stay long. I know that you have the little ones that you have to get back to. So we're gonna but I just want to say thank you for doing this interview, and the subscribers, they very much so appreciate it, and just much love to you and to your family, and hope all stays well with you, and I hope a lot of our people are hearing this and think of this as a field to get into, also as well, right?
Yes. So if you all are not in a scientific field, and you're interested in this kind of stuff, don't think it's too late, and also encourage the babies, to stay, focused in those math and science classes, and physics classes, and chemistry, because it all comes in handy. And a lot of things really make a lot of sense, and we already know a lot of this information because of the way it connects. It's just that we just have to use certain skills to go forward with the scientific methods that are used in the discipline of forensics. So, for instance, we all know if we, drop something on the floor, it's going to make a pool type look. It's not going to depend on the floor. It's going to look a certain. Know that by eye, but we don't understand the physics behind that. And so those are things that, children, they play with things all the time. Help them understand and find an interest in those type of things rather than the phone and the what are the things they play with, the Game Boys and all that kind of stuff. I might be outdating myself, but PlayStation, PlayStation and all that kind of stuff. So, have a love for the things that are around you so that we can have the knowledge of what's going on.
Yeah. All right, most definitely. Thank you, sis, for joining us. We're gonna let you get back to what it is that you have to do, right? And much love, much appreciation. And the subscriber says thank you. The subscribers also say thank you as well. And thank you very much, sis. Okay. All right, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. No problem.
All right, peace, y'all. I'm gonna cut the live here, let this one upload, and I'm gonna redo back another one right after, because I'm trying to get Matanchas one and Aboriginal Power on the panel. For some reason, like every time Aboriginal Power pops up, it cuts off and it kicks him from the panel. I don't know what's going on, so I'm going to restart back the live. But when I restart it back, we're also going to invite Sister Rhonda up here also as well. So she has some stuff that she want to touch on also as well, of a situation that she was going through and the help that she received also from our brother Oua also as well about her situation. So, very much so. Everyone just bear with me. And just, if you don't see the notification pop up, just check back the channel and you'll see that I'm going live right back when I end this stream right here, right after this one. All right. So give me about 5 minutes to cut this stream and reset back up and join right back on, right? Because we already know with this channel that we know is being tampered with. All right. So this is what it is. So we're just going to keep going until we get our brothers up on here. All right.